Hey guys, so today I thought it'd be fun to do a short how-to video on achieving that kind of restoration hardware weathered wood look using all different neutral paints. It's a really popular look right now. I got this box of lavender here behind me last weekend, and although I love it, it doesn't really go with a lot of the decor in my house. The blonde wood is just too light, and I thought this is a perfect project to just go ahead and kind of give it a different look. So if this is a look that you're interested in, I definitely would hop on over to borninabarnboutique.net, and available for purchase on my website, you can go ahead and get the full video tutorial, step-by-step process, product buying guide, all that good stuff. So after you look at this, if it's something you really want to learn how to do, definitely go check that out. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera up close so that we can do this together. So I have probably a few too many paints here, but let's go over which ones that I pulled. We're going to use the Sloan line of paint today. I really like this paint line for this look. It blends out very nicely, sands down, and kind of just melts together. So we're going to use this today. So I have French linen, which is a beautiful neutral gray. That is a gorgeous color. My fave right now, which is Coco. Beautiful, beautiful grayish brown, kind of a taupe. Country gray, which this is one I'm not sure we're going to use yet, but maybe. And then old white for the highlight, and Honfleur for the little bit of darkness or shadows. I'm going to use today only chip brushes. I mentioned this in my full video tutorial. I buy these at Harbor Freight for, I think the box is like $10 or $11. You get like 36 brushes. These are awesome for this type of a project when you're going to be switching out different paints quite a bit. And then I forgot my water bottle, so I'm going to go grab that. When I come back on camera, I will have a water bottle. That will help to achieve that blended look. And then also what I like to mention is when you're using these small little sample sizes, a lot of the times the brushes won't fit in there because they're just a little too wide. And so I get a paper plate and I kind of pour out my paints and use the paper plate and dab it that way. So, all right, let's go ahead and so we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to dip in. I do have my paper plate, but I can go ahead and get this in easy enough. But we're going to go in with the French linen first. And all I'm going to do, I don't want to deposit a full color on this. I just want to do a dry brush technique. And so all I'm doing is putting some paint on my brush and then going in one entire sweep across the piece. And I do not want, for all intents and purposes, I do not want a solid look. This is supposed to be a very farmhouse, you know, dry brush layered look. So that's our first layer of French linen, which I really like because it complements the lavender, the soft color, the gray does, and then also this beautiful greenery. So I'm really happy with that. So the way this works basically is you have to build the layers and let them dry in between. So I'll go ahead and turn the box and work on the other sides, and then I will come back around. Now, because we're doing a dry brush technique, so I just want to show you up close how pretty that is. Because we are doing a dry brush technique, it tends to dry a lot faster than if you're painting an actual solid piece. So you can go back over it a lot faster. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see. Basically, all I'm doing is taking my brush that has just the littlest amount of paint on it and dry brushing on that end there. So just really simple. There is not a lot to this. What the process calls for is a lot of paint colors, and then the layering process is one of those in which you just keep going until you feel like it's the look you're looking for. There's no right or wrong with this type of look. It's just one of those, oh, I like that. Whether that is, you know, layering on more of a lighter color, whether it's blending it out with the water or leaving it be because you like that dry brushed rough look. So with this piece, we're just gonna kind of wait and see. Now I wanna show you guys this side because look here, too heavy, right? That's okay, we can fix that. And that's one of the things with this look is that you can definitely fix by layering the different colors. So if you get too heavy in certain areas, don't fret, it's not a big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry and come back and we'll put on a different color coat. All right, so this is my most favorite color right now, and that is the Coco. And I am just going to attempt to put my brush in there and use it that way. For those of you that are not aware, I am in a cast right now, so putting stuff, getting things, paper plates, moving things around is a little difficult for me. So I figured, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with the jars and see if I can make it work, which I'm able to make it work. So this is the Coco, which is slightly darker than that gray. And so I'm doing the same basic thing. I'm going on with my brush and I'm just going over it, not trying to cover the gray either, just trying to kind of blend it together. I do have my water bottle. I do not know if I'm gonna use it. I may just want that look that's a little bit more rough and rustic with this texture in it. So I may not use it. A lot of times if you're going for a very blended look, you definitely want to use that water, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's just kind of how you decide that it's starting to look good. So as you can see right now, it kind of looks very blasé. I'm gonna show you up close. But that will change once we add the shadow and the light. Actually, I think it looks pretty good. We'll add that Honfleur, which will give that brown look to it and add some dimension, and then also that old white. So far that's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other sides of the box and we'll come back and do our... So now I'm gonna go ahead and layer up a little bit of a lighter color. It's not quite the old white yet, but this is Country Gray. This is a really, I haven't used this color in so long. And, oh, that is so pretty. Oh, you guys, this is just so pretty. Okay, so I'll show you up close on camera in just a second. But again, all I'm doing now is going over those other layers, which have been dried. Now, if you don't let them dry, they will just start to kind of smear all together. So make sure that you're letting your coats dry in between. And I have to tell you, I am taking the lightest, tiniest, featherweight brush stroke that possibly I could. And that is the key to this look, because if you go too heavy, all you're going to do is just create a mess. So let me show you guys that from that stage. Ooh, I really like this. I'm glad I grabbed the Country Gray. So that's the Country Gray. The other thing to keep in mind is when these absolutely are dried down, you can give them a little blend, and I'll show you what I use for that to kind of mesh them a little bit better together. I'm not gonna use the water today because I really love the look that I'm getting here. I love the fact that that blonde wood is coming through. I'm not completely covering it. I'm just adding some depth and dimension to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and coat the rest of the box. We'll come back on So this is the next color we're gonna layer. This is the Honfleur. This is a beautiful color. I know it just looks brown in the can, and I've never painted anything with it solid, but I have definitely used it for the layering technique, and it's gorgeous. It's gonna go ahead and give us that depth that we're gonna be looking for. So look at this so far. This is 3 colors, loving that. So let's go ahead and add some more, because why not? Because it's fun. The other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of times, especially with these dark colors, what I like to do is I have a paper towel over here, as you can see, and I kind of dab off once I get that color on there, because I don't want to layer up obviously so much and make it heavy. I want it to look, especially the dark color, you want it to look just like a sweep. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and give this a sweep across. Oh yeah, that's gonna be beautiful. So let me do that again. And what I do is I typically will start with one direction and then I go from the other. Now the key with this look is never stop and start in the middle of the project. So because you'll put a harsh line in there, a paintbrush stop line basically. So what I like to say you wanna do is you're gonna go ahead and take from the very start, and then if you have to stop, you lift it off. You basically kind of flick the wrist, and then you can come from the other direction and do the same thing. So yeah, this is really pretty. I'm really liking this. So I will show you guys in just a second what that looks like up close. So that is with that Honfleur. Now, there's a certain area that I went a little heavy or just went a little wonky, and you can fix that. So you can either fix that by layering another one of those lighter paints that we did before, or you can blend that out once it's dry with the sanding pad. So I'm gonna continue around the box. We'll be back with the last color, which is the old white, and that is going to be our highlight. So we are back for the very last. Let me show you that dried up, because it is so incredibly pretty. So that is our box dry, and we're gonna go ahead and add our white to it for a little bit of highlight, because that is kind of like the finishing touch of this look. Now, same thing, when you're dipping your brush in the paint, as you guys can see, I'm literally getting just a little bit amount, and then I'm taking my paper towel and dabbing off. You want to do that for the dark and the lightest coat that you're going to use, because again, we aren't trying to deposit so much color the way we were with these other colors. We're just going to try to do a little bit of a highlight to it. So literally the lightest, tiniest amount of weight in your stroke is going to give you that look that you want. As you guys can see, it's just going to deposit that little bit of color and allow us to have a lot of that highlight come through. So I am going to show you what that looks like. Now you can go heavier if you want to. You don't have to go as light as I'm going. It's just, as I'm doing this, I'm loving the look. So you can go as heavy as you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the box with this old white, and then I'm gonna buff it out and show you what the, so this is the end of the paint result. I have not sanded this down because I need to wait just a little bit, but I just wanted to show you guys how pretty that has come out. Look how beautiful. So we'll go ahead and let this dry. I will come back in just a minute and I will show you what I used to buff it out with the sanding pad. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, this is all dry now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just knock this down with my 220 grit sanding pad. Now keep in mind, you wanna use the 220 grit sanding pad. It is different than a sanding paper. It's a lot finer. So basically all I'm gonna do is just give this a light, it's gonna sound really loud on camera, but I'm gonna give this, go back and forth and give this just a really light sanding. And all that's gonna do is just kind of mesh together those colors a little bit. It might knock down some of those harsh lines if you don't want any of those, but this is just an option. You don't have to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the box, and then I'm gonna put a coat of wax on it to seal this, and it will deepen the color a little bit. I'll show you the final product. Show you before I add the wax. That is it, all sanded and blended. Don't be afraid to use a little elbow grease. It won't hurt it. It's such a light grit sanding pad that all it's gonna do is just blend and mesh your colors together a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the wax. I'll show you the final piece in just a minute. All right, you guys, we are at the end of the video, and some of you may notice she's wearing a different sweatshirt. And that was not because I thought, well, final segment, and I'll just change up for you. No, little mental note, I don't know what happened to me today, but I completely spaced it and didn't put on my apron. And one of these little guys on my other sweatshirt got dipped into the dark wax, and then I leaned all into it, and it's all over the front of my sweatshirt now. So now it's in the washer, hopefully coming out. So anyway, just a note, make sure you wear old clothes or aprons. But here is the final product. I love the way it came out. It actually came out just like I thought it would. Super pretty, a lot more character to it. We used 5 paints, 2 waxes. I didn't show you on camera waxing it. If you have questions about that, you can absolutely put them down below. I will go ahead and get back to you, but waxing is pretty simple. I did clear wax first, and then I accented with the dark wax. And again, let me show you, I'll give you a real close-up so you guys can see. But we just went for that really pretty layered look. I can't wait to put this in my house now. It kind of goes more with my decor. And like I mentioned earlier, if you want the full tutorial, it is available for purchase on my website at borninabarnboutique.net. It is a step-by-step guide along with the product buying guide and everything you need to achieve this look. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in today. Hopefully this was fun for you to watch. Thank you so much for being subscribers. Keep subscribing so you can get all of my videos, and I will catch you on the next one.